I see the attendees filing in now. Welcome everybody to our webinar today. We got another really good Wednesday evening webinar for you guys, full of lots of good, informative tidbits that are going to help you guys out. Happy to see everybody here. Today is going to be a really great webinar. Want to go over a little bit of webinar etiquette, webinar kind of Q&As before we get started. Number one, if you guys have any questions throughout the webinar, go ahead and shoot those in the chat right there. My name is Andrew, and I will be monitoring the chat today. Whenever you do send questions in the chat, it's going to automatically default to sending directly to hosts and panelists. If you could toggle that to everyone, that way in case somebody else has the same question you have, everyone will be able to see it. We can get the questions answered so everybody can benefit from this wonderful knowledge that we have today. If you do have any more detailed questions or any questions that maybe we're not able to get around to answering today in the webinar, there's an email that you guys got in the enrollment email. It's just webinars@patelco.org. You can shoot your questions there. One of us will be able to answer those and get those questions answered for you as well. I want to remind everybody that we're all going to be getting a recording of tonight's presentation. Veronica Dangerfield, who usually does these webinars, is actually on vacation right now in Turkey, living it up over there. So she gets back on Monday. The webinar recordings will probably be sent out next week for you guys, so just sit tight on those. But everybody enrolled will be getting a link with the webinar recorded, so you guys can go back and get this information later if need be. And another reminder, we are going to be having a raffle today. We raffle off a $25 gift card to 5 attendees who are here today. So more to come on that later as well. Today's webinar we are going to be doing is Patelco's Guide to Discovering Membership Perks. So providing you guys with educational resources at Patelco, you will need to increase your financial health. There's going to be something for everything here at Patelco Credit Union, whether it be investing tools, trust resources, health savings accounts, fraud prevention resources, community resource info. We have auto loan discount opportunities and so much more that you guys can benefit from that maybe you don't even know that we offer. You guys are going to be delighted, surprised with what's available to you, and hopefully you'll come away with some really useful information that you guys can take with you to help benefit your, financial lives. Want to go over a couple upcoming webinars we have. The next one we have is going to be on Wednesday, October 11th. It is the first part in our 2-part estate planning series. The first one's just going to be the basics of estate planning. And then after that, on Wednesday, October 25th, also at the same time of 5:30 p.m., we are going to be doing estate planning part 2, which is going to be about having an honest conversation with loved ones about your wishes. So both are going to be full of lots of really useful information for all your estate planning questions. Want to welcome members again. It looks like we got a lot more attendees here on this one. Real quick, just to review, everybody, if you could just do the questions and the Q&A in the chat. Make sure you toggle it from directly to hosts and panelists to everyone. That way all the questions can be made public and everybody can benefit from the information. Reminder again that we will be receiving a webinar recording probably next week when Veronica gets back. And if you have any other questions, just webinars@patelco.org. Shoot those questions there and we'll make sure we get those answered for you. So, want to do an introduction for Peggy Wyman, who is going to be filling in for Veronica today, doing an awesome educational resource here about all of Patelco's benefits. Peggy has worked for Patelco Credit Union for almost 4 years. Her career has been spent mostly at banks. Patelco is her first credit union, and she loves the credit union difference, mainly because the focus is about the member, it's about you guys and your guys' financial health. She loves to say that if she'd known how great credit unions are, she would have made the switch a lot sooner. Peggy is a certified financial coach, and she uses this training to assist members with their financial wellness. She is grateful for her long career in banking and the friends she has made along the way. Peggy was born in San Francisco. She has lived in the North Bay for almost 40 years. She's got 2 adult children, 3 grandchildren, a grand dog, and she loves to travel. Her happy place is Hawaii. She makes a point to visit there at least once a year. So without further ado, Peggy Wyman, please take it away for us.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Andrew, so much. I appreciate it. You're a great moderator and introducer. So thank you all for coming and attending our webinar this evening. Really appreciate it. I think that you're going to be pleasantly surprised how many benefits you have by being a member of Patelco. I even had a few aha moments myself when I was doing some more research on the benefits that we offer. I wasn't aware of all of them. So a quick overview, we have some newer ones, one of them being investing tools. So investing can be intimidating. I'll touch base on that in more depth in a minute, but it's a great resource. Trust and will resources. And as you saw, we have some webinars coming up on that, but it's a really important topic to make your plan. It's not a topic anybody likes, but it is something that we need to deal with. And it is a gift to your loved ones to have everything in order for when something happens. Fraud prevention. Fraud is so big right now. I always say the fraudsters are brilliant. They could make a lot of money legitimately if they wanted to, but instead they keep trying to take our money. So we have resources. I can talk about the current scams and hopefully keep you from getting caught by one of them. And so, you know, and I'll mention this again, but the holidays are coming and this is the busiest season for the fraudsters. They really start acting up about now and through the holidays. So you'll need to be really careful. We offer health savings accounts. I will touch on that. We have certified financial coaches, which you heard I am one of them, but my entire team are certified coaches, and we have a lot of coaches throughout Patelco's network. So that is something available to you. Auto loan discount opportunities, and we also have a car buying service. So if you've heard of like Carvana, you can go online, pick your car, they deliver it. We also have a service like that. We have a virtual branch. If you've not had the pleasure of using it, it would be just like if you went in right now to the virtual branch. I'm a banker, we're having a conversation. I can help you with anything regarding your accounts and answer questions. And then we have quite a few financial education partners and resources where you can get information. If you don't want to talk to somebody and you just like tooling around for information, we have some great resources that way too. So that was a lot. I will move on. The first thing I always like to talk about is our promise, Patelco Credit Union's promise. Our mission is your financial health and well-being. Super important. As we all know, you know, when you're young and you're, you know, growing up and you start, you know, getting into the financial world, you get your first paycheck. Nobody teaches us how to do this, right? So many of us, like me, learn the hard way by making mistakes. So what we like to do is we have the building blocks and we start at the bottom. And this is one of our coaching tools as well. So we want you to be able to manage your day-to-day finances securely and comfortably. You know, many of us are paycheck to paycheck. It doesn't mean it has to be a stress. It just means that you want to be comfortable doing it. You need a plan pretty much. We want you to be resilient to life's ups and downs. We all know that, you know, things happen. So we just coming out of a pandemic. Many people either lost their jobs, had reduced hours. You know, a financially contributing member in their household might have lost their job. That hurts when we're counting on every penny, right? So we want to make sure that we, again, plan for those emergencies. We have to be resilient. We want you to seize opportunities in your life. The example I always use is your tax refund. If you get a bonus at work, if you have a garage sale, what are you doing with that extra money? What are you going to do with that to strengthen your financial world? Many times when I was younger, you know, I'd get my tax refund and I would just kind of blow it. It would just kind of get washed up in all the other bills, and I did nothing to improve my financial health with that extra money. So that's something to think about. And then, of course, ultimately, we want you to have the healthiest financial future that you can attain. Being healthy financially is different for everybody. Everybody has a different expectation, a different, you know, whatever makes you happy. And that's a discussion we can have when we're coaching is, you know, what is that for you and how can we get you there? So here's the difference that I like to talk about, because some of the things I did not know, as Andrew mentioned, I spent most of my career at a bank, but at a credit union, when you become a member, you are an owner. So we do not have shareholders. That's one of the reasons why in the next block, our products and services are all about your financial health and well-being. All of our profits go back into our products and services. So we have better priced services for you. And we really do keep every member in mind when we're creating our products and services. So for example, you know, when we offer a great CD rate, and maybe, you know, you might see a great CD rate that a bank is offering and they'll say, oh, 5%. And then it says minimum deposit $50,000. That eliminates some of us, right? So at Patelco, our minimum deposit on CDs is $250. So it's just a more open field for everyone to play on. That's another good thing about why that we don't have shareholders. Our profits go back into products and services, and we try to make everything more equal for all members. We want everyone to be able to participate in those great rates. Our motto, people before profits, I think those other 3 squares explained that, but just remember that, you know, at a credit union, you definitely, we have your best interest at heart. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is our new investing tool. Pretty awesome. It's called the Robo Advisor Program. So I did put the link at the bottom. You don't really have to copy it. You can always find this on our website or email one of us at the end and we can get you the links, but you can find it on our website. And it is exactly that. It's a robo advisor. So you go in through our website, you set up your account. You can invest with as little as $5,000. You can transfer, like, you know, many people have 3 and 4, you know, 401ks and IRAs from previous jobs. You can transfer those into this one account. So instead of having, you know, 5 401ks spread out, you can put them all into one account. It creates a customized portfolio to align with your goals. And I'll touch on it on the next screen, but there's a questionnaire that you answer that's telling the robo-advisor, you know, what your comfort zone is, how you want to invest your money, and what you're comfortable with, and what your goals are. So goals change based on our age as well, right? So that's what the questionnaire will help, you know, so it can determine what's best for you. Low cost management fees. I know there's always a lot of talk when you invest about the fees. Each different company or brokerage has different fees. Some of them are front loaded, some back loaded, some higher, some lower. So these are very competitive and low cost management fees. You can look at the balance of your accounts on your Patelco online account. So you're a member, you go into your online and this investment account will be visible there, which is great. You don't have to sign in somewhere else. We have technical support available, and it really does take the guesswork and intimidation factor out of investing, since we're all like, oh my gosh, how much risk is this? And, you know, what do I do? Where do I put my money? You know, we're all a little nervous about that. We work hard for our money. Who wants to lose it, right? So it's easy to get started. Like I mentioned, you go in and do a questionnaire, and what that's going to determine is what your goals are, what your risk tolerance is, and your timeline. So for example, somebody just entering the workforce, obviously their risk tolerance is going to be, you know, better than mine. You know, as I'm, you know, towards the end of my career, I won't say the end, but I'm older. Obviously, I need less risk because I might need my money sooner. They might need their money, you know, not need their money for so long. So they can obviously take a little bit more chances. And as we all know, the market's cyclical, you know, it goes up and down. So that's something to take into consideration. The robo-advisor does the investing for you. So it chooses from the diversified portfolio of professionally selected exchange-traded funds. So based on your questionnaire, your risk tolerance and all, it's going to choose what funds to put you in. If you've ever looked even at your work, at your 401k, and it lists all these funds, oh my gosh. I mean, and then if you want to read a prospectus, I mean, you'll get in the mail a 50-page pamphlet on a prospectus, which is all these little compliance and little things. It's like, who has time and who understands it? That's not our expertise, right? That's why there's financial advisors and actually this system, which is going to, you know, clear up a lot of that for you. So I think it's really super as far as that goes, because it's a super, super complex world in the investing world. You can set up your ACH payment with Schwab, who will be holding the money. They are not the person that you're dealing with to set it up or make decisions, but they actually are holding the money. And the money will be put into your account within 2 to 3 business days. I'm sure you can set up automatic payments, like you can set up if you want $100 a month to go into it, or however, that's all going to be easily set up. So if you're looking for a smart and efficient way to set it up and manage your portfolio without seeing an investor, this would be a great way to do it. And you can go on and play with it. I mean, you could go ahead and start setting up a portfolio and then not use it. It's up to you. Really, whatever you're comfortable with. With that said, we do support you. We want you to have a great experience. If you're not sure it's right for you, if you have investment questions, we do have certified financial planners in the branches, and it is complimentary to meet with them and talk with them. So that is great. We also have, like myself, I'm a certified financial coach, but investments is not part of my wheelhouse. So I might be able to direct you slightly, but it'd be best if you met with one of our financial advisors. And again, there's no obligation. You're a member, right? So you can ask questions. We've also made it easy to reach us. You can make an appointment with a financial advisor on our website. You can also make an appointment with a certified financial coach. You can email us at roboadvisor@patelco.org, and that is also fielded by our investment department, or you can make a phone call. So once it's established, your statements and account servicing are provided by Schwab, but they're not the one making the decisions. So if you have any robo-advisor account questions, you can contact Schwab or email support, digital support. Again, all this will be online. I don't expect you to remember all of this. I see we have a raised hand, Andrew. So, of course, like many industries, banking, there's a lot of disclosures. So just really quick regarding the robo-investor. The deposit investment products are not insured by NCUA, which is our FDIC insurance. There is risk, as we all know, with investments. And these products have been produced by us, Patelco, not Schwab. So I'll give you a minute to look at that. I don't want to go into it too much, but it's required that we put up the disclosures. I can put them up again at the end if anybody would like, but in a nutshell, I just explained, pretty much what it says. So this is a good one, wills and trusts. This is huge. So estate planning, it's for everybody. If you're young and you think it's not important, it is, because we all, anything can happen. Accidents happen, emergencies happen, sudden deaths happen. It's very sad, but when it does happen, it's best if you're prepared. I have just lived this in a couple ways in my own personal life, which I will explain in a minute, but we can help. I mean, it's such an important thing. And we have now made it affordable and inclusive. So it says we've taken the pain out of estate planning. We now have an online trust and will planning link on our site. So you can get support whenever you need it. It's affordable. It's already affordable. And then you get 25% off a will or a trust of your choice. And, a will, generally a trust, if you have more detailed financial investments and assets. And then a trust would be more, say you don't own a home, but like I always tell my children, you have children. So if nothing else, do a will. What do you want to happen to your children if something happens to you? At least to have that taken care of. So a trust or a will, that's a decision you can make. You can complete this online in as little as 30 minutes. And it's actually built by attorneys and estate planning experts who want to make sure that your needs and wishes get taken care of. And again, it's something we always put off. I see that Shada's on our call here, one of my coworkers. She just did her trust on this. She was ecstatic. She said it was easy, it was affordable, and she was super, super happy with it. So here's an overview, kind of picture TurboTax. If you use TurboTax, this is the trust and will of the TurboTax estate planning. So it's going to be like a TurboTax, you do it yourself. They've helped over 400,000 families across the 50 states. It's a 70% cost savings versus using an estate planning attorney. You can be done in as little as 30 minutes. It's all online, and there is support for you 6 days a week. And also there is robust library, educational videos, articles, and handouts that you have access to. And then again, we have the webinars. Andrew mentioned it, and I have a slide showing it again, so you can jot it down, or we can always email you the information. But it's such an important thing. My mom passed away last year, and she had her trust done, and it was excellent. I mean, everything was put in writing, what her wishes were. And what she did is made our life easy. You've probably all heard the, horror stories of families that fight and never talk again over an estate and money. So it really, really, really is important. On the other hand, I had a younger relative pass away with nothing in writing. So it was a little bit difficult. There was a child involved, and really having something in writing, at least for the child's, his wishes for his child would have been super. So it's just super important. Yes, Andrew. Hi. You're on mute. Oh, you're on mute.
There we go. We had a couple of questions pop up in the chat about like the if we can have somebody who can actually help like review and establish trust, or about the actual estate planning like on the back end. I just wanted to kind of make this to everybody who's here. Unfortunately, Peggy and I are not actual financial advisors, so questions like that, if you would like to send those in the email, the webinars at patelco.org, we can get those sent off to our actual financial advisors and make sure that we can answer all those questions as thoroughly and as appropriately as you guys deserve. So any kind of detailed questions about estate planning and things like that, just utilize that webinars at patelco.org email, and we'll make sure we get those questions answered for you.
Thank you, Andrew.
Of course.
Anything else?
That's all I got for you. Continue.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. So again, I just will reiterate, creating a will or a trust, it's actually an act of love and responsibility for your loved ones. You know, make it easy for them. They're already going to be mourning. It's very difficult to lose somebody. So just make sure that, you know, that you've said what your wishes are. It also helps them respect your wishes. I know if there's any questions, many times in my scenario, we just went back and looked at the trust and said, well, you know, this is what mom wanted. I mean, there's 8 of us. So a lot of times in a family that big, there can be, you know, arguments or, you know, a little bit of issues with what, but there wasn't any, because everything, you know, what did mom want? Mom put everything she wanted in writing, and that's wonderful. So I do recommend large or small assets. If you don't own a home, doesn't matter. If you have pets, so if you're a dog mom or a dog grandma, like me, you know, who do you want to take care of your pets if something happens to you? That's huge. I mean, you don't want anyone to just give them away or take them to the pound. So you need to really specify everything in writing. It's so great. Also keeps you out of probate court. Oh shoot, I can't remember what the dollar amount is, but under a certain dollar amount, there's no probate court anyway. But if by chance your estate went to probate, it really is difficult for your loved ones. So I think I've stressed that enough, that it's super important. And again, I know it's not a pleasant thought, but it's great to do. Here again is the information. If you have your phone out and you want to use the QR code, you could get registered. But estate planning, part 1, the basics. Wills, trusts. Oh, I forgot to mention advanced healthcare directives, which is part of a trust. It's very important, like say that you end up in the hospital and you can't make your own decisions. Who do you want to make those decisions for you? I think I listed 4 people on mine because, you know, if they can't reach one, or maybe, you know, they have to put their heads together and make these decisions. It's also when you do make your will and your trust and your healthcare directives, it's very important to let them know, like I would never put somebody on my healthcare directive and not say, hey, by the way, you know, I would talk to them first. Everybody knows they're there. Power of attorneys are very important. If you become unable to handle your finances, grant deeds for property and all. I will say that generally when you do a trust, you put all your assets in the trust. I personally did not put my checking account in, and I added my son on it. That's what we did with my mother, and it worked out beautifully, because obviously there's a lot of time before someone passes that they might not be able to handle their finances. It just made it super easy. I was a co-signer. I could pay her bills and handle things. So just a little tidbit from my experience. The second webinar will be 2 weeks after that on October 25th, and it's estate planning part 2. So, and this is having an honest conversation with your loved ones. And again, like I just mentioned, actually communicating your wishes so everybody knows. I believe when you make a trust, it's best to give everybody mentioned in it a copy. I think that's required. You know, caretakers for your loved ones, if you have children, say you have a disabled child or relative that's going to need care, you want to make sure that that's all lined up already. Creating and storing important documents, that's huge. I live in the North Bay where we had the Santa Rosa fires in 2017. And I have to say there is a lot of cash that burned up in that fire, along with documents, passports, wills, trusts, because a fire like that, which our new world seems to happen here and there, that those home safes don't withstand that fire. So you're probably good to have some of that kept off site in case you have to leave quick. Maybe you have a backup disk or whatever, have that all on disk and then maybe give it to another family member. I personally would have double copies of everything off site, just in case. Selecting decision makers is huge. This will be helpful for that. Setting up account access. and then efficiently transferring assets. So these are great. This topic, these are usually our best attended webinars, the estate planning and wills, because that's how important it is. Health savings accounts. This probably isn't applicable to everybody, but if you are working and you have a high deductible health plan, then you are eligible for an HSA account. So what is an HSA account? It's a savings account where you have money deducted from your paycheck pre-tax. So you're saving money there. You're paying taxes on less income. And it goes into an account that is specifically for medical expenses. So again, the second bullet says, again, what I just said, that you have to have a high deductible health plan. They are portable. I know that some of you have accounts like travel accounts and childcare accounts, and they expire at the end of the year. HSA accounts do not expire. So if you happen to leave your job or leave the workplace, change employers, doesn't matter. Your HSA is still there and all your funds are still available to you. So you do not lose your funds. Your distributions are tax-free, but they must be qualified medical expenses. So I do have the link there, which I know you can't click on, but just to give you a little overview, premiums cannot be paid for by your HSA, but you can pay for copays, prescriptions, to name a few, like that's doctor related. And you can, some dental, you can do, I would say go to this website, because these days, Band-Aids, sunscreen, feminine products, I mean, there's such a wide variety of over-the-counter products that you can use your HSA for that you might not even be aware of if you have one. So it's probably a good idea to check out what is available, because it changes. And right now there is a lot of products, over-the-counter products as well, that you can use your HSA funds for. Kind of like an IRA, once you hit 55, you can contribute additional funds, additional $1,000 a year, because there are limits on a HSA, just like a 401k. And after 65, your funds can be used for anything. So it's no longer medical only. You will pay income tax, but you will not pay the penalty that you pay if you use those funds prior to that age for something that's not medical. So how you access your funds, there's debit cards, or if you pay out of your pocket, you can always get reimbursed. And I just found out recently that reimbursements do not have to be within that calendar year. So if by chance you have an HSA and you have things that you didn't get reimbursed for, you can, as long as you have the receipts, you can go back and request those funds. Some people really build up a lot, like they don't have any medical issues and they build up a lot of money in their HSAs. So the good thing about that is after 65, you can use it for anything. As I mentioned before, fraud, we are approaching the fraud season, right? This is huge. I was just telling Michelle and Andrew before the call, I get emails all the time from Norton. I don't even use Norton, yet they're constantly telling me that they just debited me $499, $800. I just got one a little bit ago. I don't even use Norton. I don't use Netflix either. And I get a lot of emails from Netflix saying my account's frozen, that I need to pay them. So just remember that it's not always going to be indiscreet. It's large companies that also, they will fake emails for. So some of the other, we do have a great fraud center on our website, fantastic. So you can go into there on Patelco. If you just put fraud in the search, it should bring you to the fraud center. The recent scams that are big, student loans. So if you have student loans, you might be approached for refinancing. That could very well not be legitimate. Fees are astronomical, and you're going to be paying a lot of fees to a non-existent company. So any student loan, pretty much any fraud, you're going to make sure you do your research. But if people are approaching you, you always want to make sure you go back. If they want anything from you, you might want to tell them you'll call them back, and then you can go online, research it. I would never call them back with the number they give you. 9 times out of 10, that will be a phony number. So student loans, if you have student loans or you have children applying for student loans, just be careful that you're working with a legitimate company, and always do your research. Digital payments, we have Venmo, we have PayPal. There's other ones. Just, again, just be careful. They don't ask you for information, right? They're not going to ask you for anything. Don't supply your information to anybody. They are not going to do anything I mean, I haven't had any problem with them myself, but I've heard other people who've been scammed via PayPal. So just don't pay anybody that you don't know, and double check who you're paying. I always make sure, sometimes I can't see their picture and it's like, is this really so-and-so? Is this really Andrew? So just make sure, right, I'll be there 1 minute, Andrew. I don't want to lose my thought, but I did get a payment that wasn't mine recently. So someone told me if I let it sit there, that it would go back. Well, that isn't true. It doesn't go back. So I contacted them via email, the company, and I said, hey, someone sent me this money, it's not mine. And they debited it out and told me to block that person. I did block them, even though I don't know them. I doubt they were going to send me money again. But just so you know, you have to be careful with the digital payments as well. Andrew, what's up?
Yeah, there was a question that popped up in the chat. If you could talk a little bit about the difference between an HSA and an FSA.
Yes, an FSA is when you have money taken out pre-tax, but those funds do expire at the end of the year. They're kind of difficult because you need to guesstimate how much you think you're going to use that year. It's hard. I've had an FSA before, and I always way underestimate because I'm afraid that I'm going to overestimate and there'll be money at the end that I haven't used, and I either need to go make some quick doctor's appointments that I don't need, or go buy something because I don't want, who wants to lose their hard-earned money, right? So FSAs are usually offered by your employer as a way to, pre-tax money, and then, save money on pre-taxes and then put it to medical, but they expire. That's the big difference. I hope that answered whoever's question. If not, you can ping Andrew and let me know. So back to scams, social media. It was funny, I was reading up on it and I was super surprised because on social media, if you have pictures on social media, one of the scams is someone might reach out to you and say, hey, I love that picture. Can I buy it from you, or can I copyright it? Somehow there's going to be money exchanged by something happening on your social media accounts. Don't trust that at all. Nobody's going to be contacting you to buy a picture or something, buy something from you that they saw on your page. I would avoid all of that. Generally on social media, say Facebook, for instance, you're only dealing with people you know, and I would probably the safest thing would be to stick with the people you know. Don't be accepting invitations from people you don't know. And if anybody wants money, no. If anybody wants to buy anything, no. If anybody wants to copyright a picture, no. No is the word in that aspect. Romance scams. So say you're on a dating website and you meet somebody and you're communicating and you start gathering feelings for each other, and all of a sudden they have a family emergency and can you send me some money? This happens, and people send money, and usually it's not only one ask. They're going to ask again, they're going to ask again, and they're going to ask again. And if you think you're in love, that giddy feeling, and you keep sending money and you think you're doing a great thing and they're still wooing you and you're feeling great, it's not great, and nobody's going to ask you for money. If they do, they're probably a scammer, especially if you've never met them before. And unfortunately, in this type of a scam, these people have never met, yet they're sending money to their new beau or girlfriend. So just be careful with that. If you're on the dating scene and you're using an online dating site, just be very careful. A fake debt collector would be just what I mentioned a minute ago. Norton, I get that all the time. Netflix, I don't even have it. IRS, people do try to scam you. They say they're the IRS. PG&E, they try to say they're PG&E. You owe them money for something. You don't owe them money. And you should know. I mean, try to be aware of what bills you have, who you owe money with, who you work with. I know I don't work with Netflix, so I instantly delete and block any emails that come from it's not Netflix, but whoever's sending it. A good idea too on a lot of these is if someone's sending you an email, if you click on their email address, if it says PG&E, it's from PG&E. Usually if you click on the email that it's from, it doesn't say it's from PG&E. It says a name or, some mixed up thing. So that's what first thing I always do is check the email. Who's it from? It's usually not legit, and it'll be pretty obvious it's not legit. A lot of times their logo looks a little skewed or different, wrong color, just wrong layout. It just looks a little funny. So just be careful of all that. Just be aware of who you owe money to and who you do business with, and that pretty much should eliminate that. I mean, if you owe the IRS money, you will know it, and they will never communicate with you via email. They send letters. Sometimes even a letter might be a scam, but it's doubtful. But you can go online, look up the IRS and give them a phone call, or go by your local office and find out if it's legit. But most companies will do it via snail mail. That's a safer way to make a determination. Is email is not a safe way to assume that you're being communicated with properly. Wire transfer scam, that's a big one. In the day, I've been in banking a long time. People would come in, they'd want to send a wire. We'd take all the information, we'd send the wire. Easy. Nowadays, when you go in to send a wire, please be nice to your tellers, because they have to ask you 20 questions, because we catch people all the time on a regular basis. I hear this all the time. Someone comes in to do a wire and they think it's legitimate and it's not. And I have to tell you, once that money's gone, it is gone. We cannot get that back once that money's wired. So if anybody wants you to wire them money, if they send you too much money in a check and say, can you send you $1,000? Oh, I only needed to give you 200. Don't send them back the 800, because by the time you put that 1,000 in, it's not going to be valid funds and you've sent them $800. I've seen some pretty big wire scams in the thousands and thousands of dollars. And they do prey on seniors. You kind of lose your discernment as you get older. So you might want to be careful with your parents or any elders in your family that they do lose their discernment, and maybe, offer help and keep a little track on it. But, be understanding at the bank if they're asking you 20 questions, because there's a valid reason for that. And again, they're just trying to protect you. So try to have a little sympathy. So here's one that you think's obvious, but maybe not. But never, ever, 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 ever give your online banking user ID and password to anybody. Don't give your personal information over the phone. We will never ask. We don't ask for a PIN number. We don't ask for your password. We don't ask for your account number. Not only us, but no company should. And if they do, again, you can hang up and you can do some Googling and you can call that company at a legitimate phone number and find out if that was valid. One of the ones they do too, that this actually happened to my mom, is she answered the phone and said hello. And then they didn't really say anything, and they just said, or I think they might have said grandma. And then she goes, Paul? And she goes, yeah, this is Paul. One of my nephews is Paul. So she did catch on and didn't do it, but that's a valid scam that happens all the time. So you might not ask with a specific, you ask with a name and then all of a sudden that's who they are. So that's another scam that is out there and does happen. It's very sad that they're so good. They certainly, again, could be very legitimate business people. They're super smart, but yeah, you have to just really be on guard all the time. It's a huge, huge industry. So how do you know if it's a scam? You can always contact us. We'll be happy to help you determine that. Always stop and think. Don't click, don't click, don't click, don't click, and don't call any number they give you. Don't send anybody money. I mean, also another rule of thumb is if it sounds too good to be true, it is. So don't send them money. Contact them again at a number that you know is correct. You can also report it at reportfraud.ftc.gov, or you can call the government and report it. One time, I'll tell you one about using the phone number, is I was working at a branch and someone came in to do a cash advance on a credit card for $5,000. That's kind of irrelevant. What happened is the number to get the approval, the customer gave to the teller who called that number, and of course it was approved. It wasn't valid. So it wasn't a valid person she called. So there goes $5,000, right? So you have to be careful. Everyone's trying to get your money. But yeah, definitely utilize us. We're happy to help. So this is pretty cool. I had some really good aha moments on this section because there's a lot of benefits that I'll bet you don't know. So number one, AutoSmart. Have you heard of Carvana? This is kind of like Carvana, but through Patelco, and it's vetted, so you don't have to worry about it. But if you go into AutoSmart, you can actually pick a car, you can shop for cars, you can pick a car, you can get your loan from start to finish, and they even deliver. So it's all like Carvana. Auto rates as low as 6.49. That does change on a regular basis. So if by the time you get in there, it's 7 or it's 6, rates constantly vary, as we know. But you can review thousands and thousands of new and used cars. It's kind of fun. I went in and tested it. So I just put in a few cars that I thought might be in my future someday. And it lists everything about the car, just like if you went on to a dealer website, pictures, mileage, year. It's really cool. It'll tell you the blue book value. It'll tell you what dealers have that car. You can get pre-approved. The application and financing is super easy. It's all online and it's all complimentary to you as a member. So everything's pretty easy and online these days. You can even buy your car without leaving your home. I'm sure most of us would want to test drive the car, but my son bought a car through Carvana, but you have a week to return it. I don't know about this, but on Carvana you do. I'm sure there's some kind of a recourse on this that if by chance you didn't drive it. But when I went in, I put in Lexus, and it showed me like Pleasanton, Santa Rosa, Marin. I mean, it showed me all the places where all those types of cars were available. So it's pretty cool. If you're in the market for a car, just check it out. No obligation. Enterprise Car Sales, we have a partnership with Enterprise. So you might have heard before that after a rental car has been used for a year, they sell them. So we partner with Enterprise. Again, you can go online and search for vehicles. You do get a 1% off your loan rate with us. If you're buying with Enterprise, we have a deal with them. So if the rate is, say, 6.5, you're going to get 5.5. That's a great deal. You can choose from over 120 makes and models. They do trade-ins. Again, they have competitive pricing and below Kelley Blue Book. They're certified. They do full inspections. You get free 12 months of roadside assistance, which is pretty cool if you don't have AAA. And you get your free Carfax vehicle history report, which in the old days they didn't have, but I love it because it says everything that your car has ever happened. If there's a wreck, it's really cool because, in the day you didn't know what had happened to that car, what it had been through, or had it been in 5 accidents, is the frame bent. So anyway, it's pretty cool that you can actually get a discount, use a reputable company and find a used car. TurboTax, I mentioned that before because we now have the TurboTax of wills and trusts, but you actually save $20 when you file your taxes with TurboTax. If you go into our website under our benefits, you can click there and you can actually buy your TurboTax and download it. If you've never used TurboTax, pretty simple. I do use it now. I used to pay someone, now I do it myself. And they have, you can chat with their experts, you can call their experts. So it's pretty nice that, if you have a question, I mean, I'm not a tax expert, but if I have questions, I can contact them. So it pretty much puts me at ease that they're reputable. And they also stand behind, I think I pay a little extra to have them say that they will stand behind my tax returns. So if the IRS ever came back, if I made a mistake, they're going to do all the research and they're going to handle it. And that to me is worth a few bucks. The IRS scares me. Probably scares everybody, but they scare me. I don't want to do anything wrong with the IRS. Got everything on the up and up. So anyway, I know a lot of you, like in the past, I have bought from Prime. I've gone on to Amazon Prime and bought it and downloaded it, but here you'll save a few bucks. So tax time is coming. We're getting close to the end of the year. So don't forget to go to the benefits part of our website and see if you can save some money. I did mention before, we have certified financial specialists, quite a few, most branches have them. We coach at no cost for our members. And it's pretty cool. It's not a one-off when we coach. It's not just sitting down and telling you what we think you should do. We have a consultation. Obviously, you need to buy into whatever we're discussing, right? So say you have too much debt and you want to get out of debt. We need to make a plan, make a budget. That's great. But I can't tell you what to do, right? You're not going to do it. You need to have some skin in the game. We're going to have a full-on conversation about how we're going to pay off that debt. I can make suggestions, but if you aren't, if it's not something you bought into, chances are you're not going to do it, right? So it really is a great consultation. We can help you rebuild your credit. I'll mention at this point, speaking of credit, if your credit is not where you want it, we have a newer, it's not new, but a newer product. It's a credit builder loan. Everybody gets approved pretty much. So if your credit's really poor and you can't get approved for credit, our credit builder loan is great because it's a loan. I call it a loan to yourself because we'll give you the loan. It can be for, a couple year loan for a couple $1,000s and you make payments. Those payments go into a savings account. We hold the funds, but when you're done paying off the loan, you get the money. And every month when you make your payment on time, just like any other loan, we're reporting you to the credit bureau with a positive payment history on time, on time, on time. And your score jumps up pretty quick that way. One of our members who did the credit builder loan said her score went up 89 points in a couple months. that's huge. I mean, that puts you into a different, credit score tier of borrowing, because you probably know this, but if you don't, but the higher your credit score, the lower your rate because you're less risk. So anyway, that's one of the things that we would recommend if you need help with your credit. We do like people to save more money. We highly recommend, even if it's just a little bit a month, I'm trying to build up an emergency savings. And then we can get you on a budget. So that's something that is great. It's for you. If you need help with that, just let us know. Again, you can go to personalized advice. You can schedule an appointment online through our website as well with a coach near you. They can meet you virtually, or you can go into a branch. These are a couple of the educational resources I spoke about earlier. Balance is, says, a leader in the financial education and resources. They offer Patelco members complimentary services. So through our website, if you go to patelco.balancepro, you can chat with one of their counselors. They have self-guided coaching and financial toolkits. So if you go to their website and say you have a specific topic you want to learn about, you click on that and they have all kinds of just like financial education and tools. So if you like to self-educate, that's a great place to go. We also have Bonsai. Bonsai is another great opportunity for you to do some exploration on financial wellness. There's articles, they have a lot of calculators. So if you want to figure out, like if I save this much for this long, you can put in how much you want to save. You could put in, if I do a loan, what's my interest going to be at this rate, this rate, this rate, for what term. So there's all kinds of tools to help you, plan borrowing, plan, what to save for retirement, et cetera. You can do a financial wellness assessment to see where you're at. You can anticipate your expenses and manage your income with the budget calculator. And there's all kinds of courses. I have to tell you, I was doing a presentation on inflation. I'm not an economy expert, but I went on there and got all the information I needed to feel comfortable educating others on inflation. Inflation right now is super, super tough on all of us. Everything's expensive. So if you need help with budgeting, you can go to Balance, you can go to Bonsai, or you can talk to one of our coaches. But I think it's a little tougher right now for everybody because gas is going up again. Everything in the grocery store, I call it everything's $2 higher. It seems like everything is $2 higher. When I go in, all the things I normally bought are always a lot more. Milk's $2 higher. So, add that up, it's a lot of money. So these are other resources that we have available for you. This one is my aha moment. I did not know that we offer discounts on vacations. I do like to travel. You can get discount tickets to Disneyland, hotel rates, and more, over 1,900 destinations. You can plan your trip with travel experts, and you can book your vacation for as little as $175 down. Best price, best service guaranteed. Do I sound like a used car salesman? I was super excited to see this because, these days, most people book by themselves, but I don't know about you, but if you're looking for a flight and you can go to 15 different sites and it's like everybody has a different price. Same thing with booking hotels. It's crazy. I find it daunting. I don't like it. I'd almost rather do something like this and have somebody pick for me. It takes hours and hours of your time. So it's, if you like that, some people do, I do not. So this is a great tool that I will be using. Also, when you're traveling, rental cars, we have 3 companies, Alamo, Enterprise, and National, where you can get discounts. I really, what caught my eye was the unlimited mileage with National, because as you all know, we have to refill our tanks. Just to say unlimited mileage is great because it doesn't matter how far you drive. But discounts, free rental, free pickup, drop off, etc. Again, go to our site. I think it's just another little great perk that we offer for you that you might not have known about. Virtual branch, I think I mentioned it before, but this kind of came from COVID. People couldn't leave their home. Everybody's afraid of getting ill. So just the brainchild is a virtual branch, and it's just like this. It's a Zoom room. I mentioned that before. You can use this QR code, or you can get in through our website. You can schedule an appointment. You can actually schedule appointments at branches. If you didn't know that, if you ever want to go in, say you want a loan, but you don't, sometimes you go in to do something and you have to wait because everyone's busy. You can actually schedule an appointment at any branch, the branch of your convenience, whichever branch you visit. But this is super cool because you get greeted by a host, and then you can get anything you need except exchanging cash, of course. I always say someday we'll be putting our money in through a little hole in our computers and somehow it'll get there. But this is so great. You can talk to a certified coach. You can talk to a financial advisor. You can talk to a mortgage expert. You tell your host or hostess, what you're looking for, and they will get you with the right person. So it's just easy. And I'm not sure other banks have this yet, or credit unions. I think that we're pretty cutting edge with this, and it's super cool. That's what I have. Oh my gosh, I talk fast and I know I talked your ear off, but at this time, questions, Andrew?
No, we got most of the questions answered directly in the chat. I just wanted to share a real quick personal anecdote about the enterprise car sale. So that's something I myself have actually taken advantage of. It was in 2020 at the beginning of the year, right before the pandemic hit. So rates were already super low. Enterprise also sometimes throughout the year will do like promotional sales as well, where you can get additional discounts on top of it. I happened to take advantage of it during one of their holiday weekends where they were giving another 0.5% off for just finding or getting the car through Enterprise. So I had the 1% off the Patelco discount plus the 0.5% off there. Not only did I get a great rate, but I was in and out of Enterprise in probably 45 minutes. That included a trade-in of my old vehicle. The process was super seamless. I could not have been happier with how it all worked out. So if anyone's in the market for a vehicle, definitely look into that benefit that we have for you guys.
That's awesome. Andrew, when we do the promotions, do the members get an email? I think they do.
We used to do a lot of the partnerships with them. I'm not sure how it works right now as far as like when they are doing them, but typically we would have a lot of promotional items in the branches. And I think emails went out as well.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Anything else? Michelle or Shada, anything to add?
Thank you, Peggy, Andrew. You guys did great, covered a lot of great information. I hope everyone utilizes them now.
Thank you.
Thank you, Peggy. And thank you, Shada, for helping out in the chat as well.
My pleasure.
My email is there. I'm happy to answer any questions. I know that I put a lot of websites up. If by chance you're having trouble finding anything on our website, any of these great benefits, just email me. I will direct you. I'll send you the link. I'm happy to help. Yeah, that's it. We thank you for being a member. We thank you for spending your evening with us, and hope you have a wonderful day, and we're here to help in any way you need it. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Have a good evening. Bye-bye.